Well, as you can see, out with the fly rod for this session, and what I'm hoping to pick up is bass. It'd be great to pick up bass, doesn't really matter what size it is, but it would just be great to, once again, as a beginner, pick up a bass on a fly rod. Now, a few of you in the comments have asked me, hey Rob, are you going to do any more fly fishing videos this year? Well, the answer is yes. I'm out trying today. Hopefully we'll be able to put something together and get one out, and then I'll see if I can get another one out before the bad weather sets in. But for those of you, several of you that have followed the videos are also trying, like me, taking it up or a relative beginner. So I'm going to go through the setup that I've got with me. So still the same rod. It's a 9-foot 8/9 weight fly rod. It's just the airflow starter rod, the Predator Saltwater that I purchased when I took it up, which came with the reel, just an okay reel. Came with weight forward line, matching weight forward line. I've changed the line to a shooting head line to try and help my casting based on advice I've been given. Shooting head line, 9 weight, and then down at the end of the fly line. And this was a suggestion from one or two of you that have watched the videos, the experienced fly fishers. Thought I'd give it a go. I've put on a braided loop connector, and then looped to the end of that, I've got a leader straight through, about 8.5 foot, straight through 15-pound fluorocarbon, down to a small link to be able to clip the flies on and change them easily if I want to try different flies. Now, this, for you beginners, what I've found is for saltwater flies, these little mini links that I'm using are absolutely fine. But of course, they would be no good for small flies like trout flies. But for saltwater flies, I found it really good rather than having to tie a new fly on when you want to change. Okay, so that's basic. That's it. That's the setup. I'm going to be fishing mainly the ebb today. By the time I get started, about 3 hours of the ebb down to low water, and then if I can, I might try and fish the early flood before I've got to go. Now, from the point of view of fishing, the conditions are great today. And for fly fishing, I've got light winds, just a light side wind, which is great for me as a beginner, instead of having to battle against strong winds, particularly when you're still learning to master your casting. Really grey because it's been iffy weather. Grey, which is great from a point of fishing, but as I said, it might rain and we might get rain all over the lens, but there's nothing I can do about that. So fingers crossed I'll catch at least a bass. Hopefully we'll get more than one, and as with the last trips, try and learn a bit more casting practice and learn by just coming and doing it. But once again, thank you very much for all the input that you experienced fly fishers have put in through the comments in my previous videos. It's been a whole library of interesting information, which is not just for me, it's great for anyone else that reads that as well. So please do, whatever you think. Obviously I can't take up all of those suggestions because there's so many, everyone's got their own idea and there's so many different pieces of advice, but I have taken on board a lot of it, and the idea is to listen but also do it and find my own way that I feel suits me at the locations I fish. So okay, let's see if we can catch a bass. Actually, this side wind is a little bit breezier than I expected, but it's okay. I'm trying to get the wind behind me a little bit. Later, when this tide ebbs out, it will become a lot shallower. I'll be able to wade out a bit, and that will actually make life easier because we'll then be able to get the wind behind me. Just trying to feel my way at the moment with the casting, get the feel back. So I'm not sort of trying to do any distance casting at the moment. I'm just trying to get some sort of rhythm going. one thing I've just realised I did forget, and that's my stripping basket, which might cause me a bit of a problem later. I'll get by because I started without a stripping basket, but I know there's a bit of a current here, left to right current, and the stripping basket stops. I found, oh look at that, we're in. Wow, the stripping basket stops the line drifting off. Well, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. I really didn't expect that, to be honest with you, so early. Yeah, so that they were close in. Mind you, there's weed beds here, and they must have been just behind the weed beds. I tell you, I've mentioned this before. Oh no, I've got it caught in the weed. Just gonna have to wade in. Hopefully, it's quite deep at the moment. Hopefully, I've only got my waist waders on. Yeah, we got it. Well, only a baby, but who cares? Who cares? It's a start. On the surf candy. Quickly get this. I'm hooked. There we go. That's it, that's out. Oh, good start. Off it goes. Yeah, there's the fly, the surf candy, which I did a bombarder float fishing video about a month ago using this fly. I've got two colours. I've got this chartreuse colour, which, as I said, it will also, apart from sand hills, it will also imitate the loads of smelt that we get here, small smelt. I've got another one. I've got a blue one, and but yeah, this is proving to be a very successful fly for me. I mean, I don't know. A lot of you spirits fly fishers do catch good sized bass, so I assume, even though these are only small, that if they're here, in fact I know if they were here they would go for it. So okay, that was good, and I'm also actually pleased there because I was just trying to get the feel of the. Oh, but look at the mess I'm in now because I didn't have I haven't got the stripping basket with me. I've got a line everywhere. Oh dear, caught all around my boot. Well, I'm gonna have to wind this lot in and start again from scratch. Let's try and. I'm going to regret not bringing the stripping basket. I can see. Okay, let's get myself organised again. I've got myself in a little bit of a pickle here. To be honest with you, it's rather nice doing these videos as someone who is learning, but still, to be honest with you, has got a long way to go. It's rather nice instead of being the one that supposed to know it all, which of course none of us know it all with other types of fishing, but which of course I don't. But I certainly don't. I certainly don't know it all. Know a lot with this, but I'm getting better. Oh, now what's happened? Do you know what? I'm not going to cut this out. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to put this in because it just shows you, because now when I'm trying to get myself organised, I've got the blooming fly caught up in the... Right, get out there. That's it, we're clear. Caught up in the weed there. Right, we're off again. Great. I'll try and show you later if I remember. I've put a permanent marker on the fly line where, although it's colour coded, where the start of the shooting head starts, and I'm trying to use that as a guide to try and not trying to keep as much of the shooting head line out. I can't keep it all out, particularly when I'm wading in like this. I can't keep it all out of the rod tip. But I've got this guide coming through the rod tip now, this black permanent marker, and I sort of know if I can let X amount of the tapered shooting head go through the rings, and then lift the rod up like that, keep it working as many of you have advised, and then normally one false cast and bang, I'm out. Not out a great distance, but I'm out. So the marker's coming through the rings now, come through the last ring. It's just going through my finger now, so I can now see the shooting headline, and I'm going to try one false cast, and out she goes. I'm going to check my leader at the end of this session and see if I've managed to get through a whole session without getting a knot in my leader, which is obvious. I know is to do with your casting technique and maybe putting too much force into it, or stopping the forward cast too early, or not letting it unfold. So I'm trying to take my time. And when I'm certainly get the fly, I can see the fly is definitely turning over there, but I'm just not really trying to. It just seems to me the more force I try to put into a cast, the worse it gets. The more of a mess I get into. Oh, that was me. Oh, I was too anxious then. I just felt let's get back out there. I felt a bang. Felt the bang, but didn't get it. I got too excited. Well, I'm getting the feel back again now. Getting the feel of the cast. I'm doing the single haul now, which is getting it out a little bit further. I'm getting more of the running line out there now, so I'm getting a longer run. Yep. Well, at the moment, standing in the water here, I'm not seeing a lot of bait fish, which is a shame, because you start seeing those and you start feeling more confident that a few bass will come in, and shoals of bass will come in and go for them, but at the moment not a lot. Well, I'm getting better at having more of this head out. I said I've got my marker, and I am drawing my marker through the rod rings, but I'm drawing it now to my finger and then lifting the rod. It's just coming, here it comes here. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. There it is there. So just beyond that, we got that's basically the start of the, so I've got it to my finger, and then I'm able to, one false cast, single haul, and out she goes. I can't, especially wading in here, I can't get it where I've got that marker, the start of the head, completely outside the rod tip. It's outside the rod tip now. I might have a go later, see if I can. But it's coming through, so the start of the head is coming through. There's my marker. Got my marker to my finger. Try and keep the fly working. Up. one force cast, single haul, and out. Although I'm trying to keep the line high, but as I said, I am wading in, so I can hear either the line or the fly catching the water on the backstroke. Oh, and by the way, I have got a knot in the leader. I checked it. I've got one knot, so obviously on one of the casts I did something wrong. I'm trying to, I think it's the forward cast. I'm finding it difficult with the forward cast to get a build up of speed. I might be a bit, in other words, I might be a bit quick on the forward cast, or I'm stopping the rod too early. I'm not sure. I did watch a YouTube video, an Orvis one, about what causes it, that it's not actually caused by wind, not wind knots, it's to do with the casting technique. And but anyway, the point is, I'm getting the fly out there. Just no fish around at the moment. Well, unfortunately, that was it on this session. I had that bit of action earlier on, and then not long after that, got a tug but didn't hook it, and then it just went completely dead. There's absolutely no life at all. And when I was standing in the water, there was absolutely no sign of bait fish. So, but on the positive side, at least I had plenty of casting practice. Sometimes my casting was really good and smooth. Sometimes it was awful. So it was good practice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back another time. I don't know when. I'll come back hopefully when there's a bit better tide. Make this session as part of the video. Come back another time and see if I can catch some more. Well, back out again to give it another try. And difference today is I've got a much better tide. I've got spring tides today, so a lot more movement. So hopefully it might attract one or two more fish in. The other difference between today is that at the moment it's a lot quieter here. Last time I came, it was in August, and it was very, very busy with people on the water and in the water. We're now into September, and it's noticeably quieter, and I'm just hoping it stays that way, and that may help the fishing without too much boating activity on the water. Okay, now since the last trip, I've been doing some casting practice. I've been coming down on the water, not fishing, no flies, just doing some casting practice. And the reason for that is because although I'm getting the fly out there and I'm able to fish, I'm not happy with the casting. I'm not happy for two reasons. One is I can't seem to get it out there without force casting. So therefore, even if you only do one force cast every single time, it becomes tiring when you're like me and I go for a good few hours each time. And the other thing I'm not happy with is this problem with knots in the leader. Every single trip I've had, I've never had a trip where I've not ended up with at least one knot, or sometimes loads of knots in the leader, which is really annoying, and it's clearly something wrong with my casting technique. So I've researched this, and you experienced fly fishers will know what it's called, but basically for those of you like me that are fairly new, it's caused by what is known as a tailing loop. And I'll try and explain to you what a tailing loop is that causes these knots in the leader. You've got your fly line, so it's caused on your back cast or your forward cast. On your back cast, you've got your fly line going back like this, your main fly line, and then you've got a bit of the fly line and your leader to your fly coming back in a loop like that. It's supposed to be a tight loop which can penetrate through the air like that, and then when you get to the end of your back cast, the leader unfolds, and then on your forward cast, Again, you've got your bit of your fly line and your leader coming back like that. It's supposed to stay separate but close. And then at the end of the cast, the leader's supposed to unfold. Now what happens when you get these knots is, instead of these staying separate on the back or the forward cast, the leader is crossing over, dropping down below the fly line, which causes an overhand knot. So although I'm getting out there and I'm fishing, I'm not happy. So what I think it is, I know what causes it, but I wasn't sure why I was getting it. And I think what it is with me in practice is, a lot of the problem is false casting. When I false cast, I'm not keeping a speed or a rhythm. So the casting for me at the moment has been, so I'm down here, I go up, and then I have with my forward cast, I'm releasing line out of this hand to try and get all of the shooting head line outside the rod tip. So I'm releasing line, then I'm going back again, and then I'm doing a single haul and then forward. And I think the problem is, it's on that false cast. It's when I'm back here and then I'm going forward, releasing the line, it's this next bit, the last bit. Sometimes I think I'm getting it all too quick, going back, single haul, dump, too quick, too jerky. And I think that's what's causing the tailing loop, the knots. So I've been practicing trying to cast without any false casts, just up and out. And I think I've mastered it. Mastered it's probably not the right word, but I think I've got a way. And the way is, and some of you spurious fly fishers are going to think what you're doing, Rob. The way is not your normal cast. Your normal cast would be that, let's say this rod, it goes back like this, and it's supposed to stay in a straight line. Even if you go out sideways, straight line like that. Straight line like that. What I found is, and I've discovered this by accident, I think I discovered it doing a sort of a D cast, where you're just trying to get your head out when you're starting fishing, is to actually, yeah, sure, go up, but go up and actually have a loop up here, like this action, forward. That. So not straight like that, up, loop and forward. Now I looked this up, and I think, I'm not sure, this is similar to what they call a spey cast that they use for salmon fishing, where they have the longer rods and they're double-handed, where they sort of go like that. Do you know, and I started doing this, that action, and it feels so comfortable, and I'm able to just do one cast, no false cast, and I'm getting the fly out there, and I'm able actually to have more of the head out, so I don't no false casts. And I think that's what it is. And in practice, we'll see what happens today in when I'm really fishing. In practice, and I've had a fair few hours, not one knot in the leader, not one. So there's got to be something right. So it may not be the way to do it, but as I said in the first video, I'm going to try and find my way that I feel comfortable with. And to be honest, when I come to locations like this, I don't need to cast miles out. I don't need to do single and double hauling. I just need to get it out a reasonable distance, particularly if I'm wading in. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, and we'll see how it goes. I think actually it might be similar to a one-handed spey cast. So instead of a two-handed, a one-handed. Up. Anyway, we'll see. So I'll start fishing, and We'll see what happens. Let's at least see if I can pick up at least another bass. Okay, off we go. Let's get some line out. Actually, a good tip I picked up on the internet when you're trying to get your line out before you start is actually use the water pressure like that, and then get it out, and then more water pressure. In other words, drag the line through the water to pull it out, and then a decast, and then like that, rather than sort of feeding it out manually. Use water pressure. So I'm pleased with that. Okay, let's get this straight. That's it. There's some line out there. There you go, look. One cast. One up and out. No false casting. And so it's up, out. And I did that loop on my backstroke, and look at that, that's gone out beautiful. So just got a bit of the head coming onto through the rings now. So up, loop, out. To me, that's good enough, and it's going to make it so much easier than having to do all those false casts. Or do at least one. So up, loop, out. No sound of sort of whippings, bit of a whooshing sound, but no sort of cracking or whipping sounds or anything like that. Up, loop, out. I don't know if that's considered a method. I think it is, single spey cast, but whether it's conventional or not, I've no idea. You tell me. But the point is, it's working for me. So it's up, loop, out. Fantastic. It's working for me, and it's so much more comfortable. And we'll see, and I won't cheat. We'll see if I get a knot. If I get a knot in the leader at the end of this trip. I haven't got the stripping basket again today. The reason for that is when I was doing the casting practice on the water, I brought the stripping basket, and I just felt so uncomfortable with it. Just found it really awkward and uncomfortable around my waist. So I decided, in places like this, even though I've got a bit of a current taking the line, I'm not going to bother. I'll keep it for if I go fishing on the rocks, then use a stripping basket to stop the line going down into the rocks and into the barnacles and getting caught up. But I think here I feel more comfortable fishing without it around my waist. Oh, this is so much better fishing without doing false cast. Just up and out. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure, like that, up and out. I'm pretty sure that's why I was getting problems with the tailing loops, the knots. It's just going back and forth too many times, and if you don't get your timing right, that's when you get in a bit of a mess. So I've now come to the conclusion, at least no false cast is better than just one false cast, let alone two. All right, so it's what I do. I check this leader now. Now usually at this stage, what have I had? I've probably had about, I don't know, 20 casts. I would have got a knot already. So let's have a look. Show that I'm not going to cheat. Let's have a look. Right, I'll run my finger down. No knots, not one. Yeah, normally I would have had at least one by now. Okay. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say is in the first section of this video, I didn't realise till I got back that there's that sort of scratching sound when I was casting. What it was, and hopefully we're not going to get it today, is because I've got a microphone on my t-shirt under my chin, and when I was casting, the microphone must have been rubbing against my t-shirt, so I've got the mic in a completely different position. Oops, got a bit of weed. I've got the mic in a different position today, or well away from any clothing, so hopefully we won't get that horrible scratching sound that I was getting. Yeah, you get a. I've mentioned this. You got this weed you got to live with here. Thong weed, spaghetti weed. That when the tide drops down to a certain level, you start picking it up in certain areas. Well, there's no action at the moment, so I think what I'll do is I'll have a break and have a bit of lunch and resume a bit closer to the low water period and the turn of the tide. Well, no sign of any fish yet. It's pretty dead. But one thing I just wanted to say about this casting method I'm using now, not once have I hit the water on the back cast. Whereas before, the method I was using before, particularly when I was wading in, I'm wading in now to just over my knees. Before I kept hitting hearing the fly hitting the water on the back cast, but not once. Using this method, as that happened, so that's another good thing. All right, we're bang on low water now, so in about 20 minutes the tide will start flooding in. It's been absolutely hopeless on the ebb, no sign of any fish at all, so I can only hope with the flooding tide, one or two fish will move through. The good news is the casting's going really well. Still no knots in the leader, which is good. So that's definitely an improvement for me. And I'm not feeling half as tired because haven't done one false cast, no false casts, and no knots in the leader, and also no hit in the water behind me, even though I'm wading into well over my knees at the moment. Well, although I tried hard and fished a couple of hours of the flood tide, it was completely dead, with no signs of fish and no bait fish, which is probably why the fishing was poor. However, really pleased with the casting and something to build on next time. Shore saltwater fly fishing is definitely not easy. Even with conventional shore lure fishing, when you can cast much further and cover much more ground, it can be hard to find some fish. Therefore, with fly fishing,
covering much less ground, you need to be there when the fish are there and close in to stand a chance of success. Fortunately, with bass, when they are there, they can be very close in. However, it is very enjoyable and definitely a challenge, and when you do hook a fish, great fun on the fly rod and a great sense of achievement. So once again, I hope you found that useful, and many thanks for watching.